One of you will eventually have to say you are sorry, not to me, to them, OK? Yes, the victim of some of your ill behaviour is waiting patiently in the booth. But who owes the apology? Let's nudge you into a story before we make our grand reveal. It could be to do with a confused neighbour, it could be a visit to the #1 B&B in Wales, or it could be a brassed-off music teacher. Jamali, who do you need to apologise to, my love? I
need to apologise to a guy called Andy Zapp, who's a comedy promoter.
Of course he is with a name like that.
Yeah, and basically, I must have been about 20, and I was booked to do a gig in Luton.
Right.
And I hate Luton. So I always decide not to go.
It's a lovely airport.
Yeah, so it got to the day of the gig, and I just said, you know what, I can't even stand to look at people from Luton today. I'm not doing the gig. So I've rang him and I've said, yo, Zapp, I can't make it. And he's like, oh, I sold tickets. I really need you to come down, please, Jamali. And then I just said, I've got kids to feed. And he goes, what? And I said, Andy, I've got to look after my kids. My kids come first, and I don't have kids. And so every time he sees me, he goes, oh, how's the kids doing? I go, yeah, they're great. And he goes, can I see photos? So now I have to Google cute kids.
This is your alibi for Googling kids. Yeah. Very clever.
Yeah, I was worried about that, because when you just type in cute kids, photos come up, and I was really worried.
Arrogant that you think your kids would be cute, Jamali.
Yeah, you didn't think. That's a good point. And to be fair, like, I had to pick, like, average, because the kids that come up are, like, the model kids, and I was like, it's me. Come on, let's bring it down a level.
Are they like B-grade kids?
Yeah. When you go to, like, the 4th page, it starts getting the ugly ones. And I go, that's more of my... Oh, some kids are ugly, come on. He asked me names.
So what names have you
I just went with Jamar.
Jamar. Oh, you got two? Jamar and...
Jamai.
Jamar.
And he went, your kids are Jamar and Jamai. And I just went, yep. And the thing of, like, sometimes just being brown, people just go, yeah, that's probably what they do. And people go, yeah, all right, cool.
Jamali, this is a really, really complicated piece of fraud here, isn't it?
It's lasted too long, and I want to break the lie, but then he might ask me to come Luton.
Yeah, do you ever wish you'd just done the gig instead of the web of deceit that you've woven for yourself?
Have you ever been Luton?
No.
Well, then, if you went Luton, this is way more good.
Thank you. Sarah, now, who would you owe an apology to in that booth?
To the owner of a B&B.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So, when you do stand-up, you often stay in places you don't really want to. I don't like B&Bs generally, and I had to stay in this one because I was doing some gigs in Wales, and I had to stay in the B&B. There was no option. And the room wasn't en suite. The closest toilet was 2 floors up from my room. Yeah, exactly. There was a sink in the room, and it was a sturdy sink, because you got to try that first. Yeah. Because if it's a flimsy one, nothing's happening there.
You don't want to rip it off the wall.
No, and but I noticed beside the sink was a toilet roll, and I thought, they know what I'm doing. But I thought maybe that is a Welsh ensuite.
So you shat in the sink?
No, I just did a wee. I didn't shit in the sink. I think if I had needed number twosies, I would have just, you know, forced it down.
Yeah.
To be fair, no, I did shit in a kettle once, so I can't...
You did what?
Yeah, shit in a kettle.
In a kettle?
Yeah, sometimes you got to shit in a kettle.
No. Why?
Oh, sorry to surprise you there, Chris.
Fucking do.
Sorry. There's a large gong beside
Could have fucking told me there was a gong next to me.
Chris, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I thought I just had an embolism or whatever the fucking thing in your brain is.
I'm so sorry.
Can we get back to the shitting in the kettle, though? I feel like I don't want to skirt over that.
Can I just say, stop everything. Hark to the song of the wrong gong. That sound means that a nifty little boost in points for you, Jamali.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well done.
Oh, great.
Shitting in a kettle.
You know, I never thought that was ever going to be a positive in my life.
It's amazing.
Was it in a hotel or was it at home?
It was at a festival.
A festival?
Why did you have it, though?
Because it was like, you know, the little, like...
Like a travel one?
Yeah, like a travel kettle. It cost, like, 30 quid, so I was like, I'm going to get my money's worth.
I've pooed in a jiffy bag. But I've
Who
never...
did you send it to?
I can't believe I just said that. Why did I just say that, guys?
I can't believe you don't know what a glory hole is, but you've shut in a jiffy bag.
Chris! Chris! Now, somebody there in the booth might be somebody that you've got to apologise to. Who could that person be and what is it for?
It's the music teacher thing. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. I ended up at a religious school for a little while. I'm not religious. Even at that young age, I kind of knew it was all a crock of shit. I used to sneak into the music room. They'd amassed this huge library of cassette tapes of religious music, and I'd sneak in there and I'd take a few. I'd take them home. I'd record over part of side 2 or something with a bit of Def Leppard, Alice Cooper. And then I'd nip back in and I'd put them back in the spaces where I'd taken them from.
Can I just say, for the younger viewers, the Dave, keeping it Dave, viewers, cassette tapes, right, they're, it's basically like TikTok. They're like TikToks. But you can rewind them with a pencil.
Yeah.
So you know. So, is it Jamali's peeved-off promoter, Sarah's cheesed-off B&B owner, or Chris's bemused music teacher? Mystery guest, please reveal yourself.
Oh, shit!
Come through! Come out! Hey! Oh!
How you doing?
Yay! Is that Andy Zapp? It's Andy Zapp!
Andy Zapp.
Andy Zapp! I'll do the Luton gig, seriously. I want to be promoted by Zapp. I am obsessed with Zapp. Tell us this side of the story.
Well, he just let me down, didn't he, really?
All right, that don't even feel bad now.
But, yeah, he let me down.
Yeah, you're still mad at me, innit?
No, how could I be mad at you, mate?
Oh,
no.
guys,
I know,
this is
and he is a
lovely.
bit of a porky-pie, isn't he?
Andy, you're not just a comedy promoter, you are a philosopher, I sense. You've got pearls of wisdom just spewing
You're
out.
so
of you.
kind,
It's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, I suppose I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, where's my chair? You know what I mean? There's an old geezer coming on the stage. No chair for me. I have to stand through this purgatory, but it's all right.
Do you want to sit down?
Yeah,
Andy?
come on
we'll
then,
swap.
come on.
Go on, we'll swap. I'll be here.
I'll see.
I'll be there. Oh, come on. Andy Zapp! Andy!
This feels good. This feels good. So what happened, Mel? You know.
I'm Andy Zapp, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm Andy Zapp.
So, Andy, when Jamali told you about all his kids, you believed him?
He said, I've got a wife and 2 kids, and it kind of didn't really compute. I said, well, so fucking what? Because I've got a wife and 2 kids.
Andy,
you know.
just because you're in the chair, you don't have to swear.
Well, you lot have been swearing. I've been listening. I've been listening.
Andy.
Glory holes. Shitting in kettles.
Wouldn't it be amazing if this is how Mel lost the job?
I'm getting a bit worried. I am going to have to ask you
Do I have to leave now?
to leave the chair.
And what, go back to my little mark?
Well, or just go, I'm afraid.
Nice to you, Zach.
What an absolute legend.
Now we know it's him, can I just say I'm not sorry about the tapes at all?
And I would shit in that sink again.
I think I owe an apology to former leader of the Labour Party, Neil Kinnock.
Right.
Did you do a rally?
No. I'm a big fan of Neil's. And I met Glenys on a television programme. We became quite friendly. They came to see me do a show. This is in '98 or something. Anyway, a couple of years later...
Yeah.
I'm going to Brussels for the Euros to see England play Germany.
Oh!
And I can't get a hotel room in Brussels. Now, Neil and Glenys, at the time, were working in Brussels. And I had a phone number for their office, rang up. Do they know of any hotels or hotel rooms, you know, that might be available?
Lovely.
Surely the occasional diplomat comes into town and there's a room kept.
Yeah.
They said, no. But a message came back to me a bit later. Neil and Glenys say you can stay at their house, they're away, just have the keys, it's yours.
Wow. That's That's really kind.
Get picked up at the airport and driven up and go to the house, really nice townhouse, go in, and they said, now, you're going to be given a code for the alarm. If you get the code wrong, the alarm will go off. When the alarm goes off, the phone will ring. When the phone rings, you need to say the special code word, and if you don't, people will arrive. Armed people will arrive. So we go, yeah, great. England. We go to a bar. Everyone's slaughtered. We get on the train. We're going to Charleroi, where they're having the game, and we get off, and there's a lot of police, and there's been a bit of trouble because of the strong Belgian lager. Yeah. But we get into the ground safely. We start singing the Dam Busters theme, another ludicrous World War II reference.
Doing all this.
And doing all that with our thing. And behaving like absolute juveniles. And then England score! Whoa. Alan Shearer scores, and the actual stadium's moving, and we can see the water cannon outside in the street parked up. We think, will we get back to Brussels alive? We get back to Brussels, we remember the house, lovely house, we get there, we go in the door, and... beep, 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 beep. The code. My friend Jess says to me, what's the code? I say, I don't know what the code is! And he puts the thing in, and it's the wrong code, and it was the loudest noise you've ever heard. It was so deafening, it made you feel very sort of nauseous, like you had to get out of there. So, I'm feeling nauseous. And then the phone rang. And my friend Jess picked up the phone, and I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was Ferme La Bouche, but I don't think it was Ferme La Bouche. It was something like Maison de la Glennis or something, anyway. And he just shouted it to the phone like that. And the alarm stopped. They gave him the code, the alarm stopped, and the SWAT team didn't come. And we relaxed. And Neil and Glennis had left a card saying, help yourself to the wine cellar.
Oh, my days.
And that's what I need to apologise for. I actually remember now... a good friend of mine said to me before I went, you're going to stay at Neil's house, go in his bedroom and take a picture of his underwear. I said, I'm not doing that. Yes, I dare you. I dare you to go in Neil Kinnock's bedroom and find his pants drawer and take a picture for me. That's the sort of thing she said.
Exactly.
And you feel like you've got to do it. It's sort of obligated. And I did go in his bedroom and I did find his underwear drawer.
I'm imagining Neil would go for a baggy Y front rather than a boxer.
What he has is he has a life-size dragon on the front of his crotch.
Now, Sally, your apology, please.
In my early 20s, I had a 2-year relationship with a comedian. And I didn't go out with another comedian after that. Because it was...
You used the term comedian quite loosely there.
It might be behind the door, will you?
Who knows?
And we were going out for a few years, and it would reach, like, you know, I was 24, and we reached that point where, is it stick or twist? Are we going to stay together? I'd met his parents, got on very well with his parents, and I thought that was it. And he thought, I'm too young to die. And I ended up in Edinburgh in a show with him, and also in Arthur Smith's Hamlet, where I was playing Ophelia, and I had written my stuff. The idea was Ophelia had gone mad because she'd just been dumped by a guy who was just getting a BBC Two show and his field of vision was expanding. And I went quite mad. I put this person's phone number up in the show. And not only did I do that, but I was also in a show with him, and I used to heckle him during the show. Backstage. I remember Graham Linehan saying to me, I don't think you should shout. You're a shit actor.
The wings. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So you have to go and see these two shows together because one show doesn't exist. But anyway, I now see that it was wrong. And it must have been very horrible for them because it was quite public, and I am sorry.
Who was it?
Richard Herring.
Oh, but you always used a pseudonym.
Yeah, Dick Kipper.
Dick Kipper.
Nobody could possibly guess who it was.
I mean, giving his number out, Sal, that's quite, yeah.
It was, yeah, it wasn't...
That was in the day of the landline. He couldn't escape that.
That's true. He didn't have a mobile.
Why didn't you just get off with Stuart Lee and be done with it?
I obviously did that to the other friend.
She did.
Now, Rhea,
Who do you owe an apology to?
OK, so I owe an apology to someone that I almost got banned from their career. I have children, and when my son was in reception class, he had a wonderful teacher, one of those people that was drawn to teaching.
What was his name?
Stephen with a V.
Stephen with a V.
So this teacher decided that we would take the reception class to the beach for their summer party. And of course, he needed a lot of help from the parents, but if the parents were going to come and help, then we had to be able to bring those kids we still had at home because they were too young to go to school with us. So we had 11 adults, 30-something children, and we managed to get them all to the train station. We managed to get them all on the train. We managed to get them all the way to the beach, right? Now, I had brought my 4-year-old was there, and I had to bring my 2-year-old as well. We're there, and we're all watching everyone's children, as you do, a bit commune-like. Like, we didn't share the breastfeeding, but everything but. And my 2-year-old disappears.
Oh, man.
And there's a moment when you're a parent when you can't see your kid, and it's here, and it's a little feeling, and you're just like, I'm never gonna see my kid again. And it's horrific. But with this kid, I was like, I kind of expect it. You know, you need to go, I can make more. You know, all these things going through my head. Focus on the one you still have. You take 2 kids to the beach and lose them both. That's bad. But one, you can get away with it. And so everyone's panicked, but especially teacher, because turns out you can't take 34 kids to a beach and come home with 33. Like, that's not, you can't do that and stay in teaching. We're spreading out. But, you know, we didn't go as far as he did, so he was the one that went down the beach. So he eventually found him, and he'd wandered off, and he only had a nappy on because we were at the beach. He was 15 minutes down the beach, just talking to a family, just having a little chit-chat. Family were sitting there going... So we did find the kid, and I still have the kid, but he never took another class to the beach again. Oh. So I owe him an apology.
I know how you feel, because I lost my virginity on the beach.
This is true.
Never found it.
To a strange family.
I was only wearing a nappy.
So, did our mystery guest budget stretch to former leader of the Labour Party, Lord Kinnock, Sally's well-known comedian ex-boyfriend, or Rhea's kids' teacher? If I know this show's budget, we couldn't afford any of them. Mystery guest, please reveal yourself.
I'm here on behalf of the Brussels police.
Neil, can I call you Neil?
By all means, dear, yes. You've just done it, haven't you?
Neil. Now, obviously you knew that Alan and his mate had sort of had a bit of a riffle through your wine collection.
And underwear.
Yeah, but it has to be said, in fairness to Alan, who seems to be uniquely equipped for making cock-ups, they left me a case of very nice wine that was lovely and a sock.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
dear.
The sock was under our bed. I suspect nothing. And,
I just got that!
well, we disposed of the wine and the sock.
Good.
Separately, yes.
Were you aware, Neil, that he'd taken pictures of your underwear?
No, I wasn't. And I would rather think that he hadn't, because the descriptions offered of my underwear are very wide of the mark. They're actually leopard skin Tarzan pants.
I hope, Neil, I'm not saying leave the stage now, but when you do...
You mean die? Do you mean die?
No, I mean leave the stage.
Well, no, yeah, Mel is really dangerous saying that to a 79-year-old girl. When you shuffle off the mortal coil, I mean...